is the biggest way to find a new job, right? And then this thing called COVID hit in early 2020. Oh darn, but wait, guys, hope isn't lost. If the thought of networking makes you cringe and groan, I understand. Many people thinking that it's a system that rewards people who lucked into having these special contacts, and employers who prioritize hiring people from within their own networks often land candidates with similar backgrounds and perspectives rather than cultivating diversity that can help companies succeed. Of course, networking can feel awkward even without a pandemic forcing us to conduct most of our communication over video conferencing apps. But there are more ways to become comfortable doing it. So today I'm going to share with you these ways that you can do this. So why should networking be important during a pandemic? Guys, the vast majority of jobs are obtained through networking. Don't let a pandemic be an excuse not to network. It's just as important as it has been before. Okay, how many of you heard this? Well, I got the job because I followed my old boss, or a former colleague called me. Guys, networking typically is not going to lead to a job that's posted and it's got hundreds of applicants. Okay, what it's going to do is it's going to lead to a job where you're a pool of only one or just a few. Okay, the odds are much, much better. And the best thing that you could possibly do in a job transition is play the odds, right? So I recommend spending 80% of your time networking and only about 10% of your time calling recruiters and the other 10% peeking at those online job postings. What that's going to do is going to triple or quadruple your likeliness of success. While remote networking is great on paper, it's not without its challenges. For starters, you have to prepare yourself for a meeting without background noise or an ambiance, okay? That means working on your video call technique, as well as your icebreakers to avoid awkwardness. It also means taking that first step to connect with new people, as they won't come to you, okay? So here's a few tips for networking remotely so you can build valuable connections, even when you're staying at home. So first, I want you to look at the options available to you. Before the pandemic, guys, most networking took place face-to-face, right? With the introduction of new restrictions, this has become a lot more difficult. So if you're looking to expand your network and make new connections, you're going to have to look at the other options available in this remote networking world. Probably the most popular option is video calls, right? The number of people now using video calling to keep in touch is shot up in the past year compared to previous years. This means that people have learned how to video call and should now be confident using it, okay? You can easily have a conversation over a video call, which is a major plus for networking. And at the same time, there's other options available too. You could agree on a time to message one another using an instant messaging app. There's so many out there, guys, okay? Or you could sign up to do remote networking events, okay? Specifically designed to help you meet people in your industry. And if you live in the same city and it's safe to do so, you might consider having a socially distanced meeting outside. Okay, walking meetings can help you get out of the house and move your body while flexing your little networking muscles, okay? Little pro tip here, okay? Take responsibility for setting up the meeting and sending them an invite in addition to the reminder the day before, okay? It actually makes you feel more powerful when you invite the person into your space. And then you take this off their plate. Major pro tip, make the networking meetings similar to the meetings you had before the pandemic. So what you could do is send over like a $5 coffee card instead to treat them to a cup of coffee, just the same way you would as if you were paying for them in the coffee shop, okay? Second thing, be flexible with your schedule, okay? So if you're arranging to meet someone remotely or in a socially distanced way, it's a really good idea to work around their lives, not yours, okay? Find out when they have time in their schedule and you make arrangements that are convenient for them. In short, make it as easy as possible for them to meet you, okay? With many families now just juggling all these full-time care responsibilities as well as work, time constraints have become even more extreme. So give people time to get back to you, cut them slack, give them grace if they're late for your meeting, and then thank them for giving up a slice of their day to talk to you. Okay, making a good first impression is absolutely crucial in any networking scenario, and this rule still applies for remote networking. Take responsibility for organizing the meeting and sending them an invite, okay? And then send a follow-up and be prepared to put in the work to keep the connection alive. That's the biggest thing, follow up. These steps are going to help you build a positive relationship and the get-go that could bring you more success down the line. 3, prepare like it's a face-to-face meeting. By now, many of us are familiar with the ins and outs of video calling, but that does not mean you should not make an extra effort, okay, when networking. This is not the time to be wearing sweatpants or calling in from bed, okay? If you treat your remote meeting like an in-person meeting, guys, it's going to be easier in the head game, okay? At the same time, it's also a good idea to research the person you're going to be networking with, okay? Even if you know the organization, take another look at their website, take a look at their social media to see what has changed since the start of the pandemic. Guys, with many businesses pivoting to respond to the challenges of what happened in 2020, you might find that an organization you thought you knew has actually changed a lot. You can also prepare your questions ahead of time. This will help make sure that the focus is on the other person, not yourself. We talk about this all the time. You are there to learn more about them and what they plan to do. So have 5 to 10 questions that make the most of this opportunity. Even if you don't use them, it's helpful to have those prompts in mind, just in case the conversation kind of goes dry, right? 4, network within your own organization. Let's say you still have a job. Congratulations. Now more than ever, it is crucial to network within your organization, even if you don't plan on staying, okay? With the remote networking, there aren't the same opportunities to chat in the elevator or in the corridor or at the water cooler, right? It's easy to feel isolated from your colleagues and the people that you would otherwise interact with on any given day. So with many organizations shifting their structure, creating new roles and slimming down other departments, it's really important to have your name in the ring. Make an effort to connect with people in your organization as well as outside, because you might be surprised. You might choose to do a video call with catch up, right? Or otherwise, maybe you send a simple email to connect on social media. That might be a good way to reconnect as well. So remember, guys, this is not a job interview. It's about building a relationship. So let them do the talking. Share your brief personal narrative, but the rest of the time is gotta be asking questions to gain their insight and their advice. Okay, the information they share will help you build the relationship through future relevant communications. So is there anything you should avoid during networking meeting? Absolutely. The one thing is never ask for the job, okay? The request of a networking meeting is always, I'm seeking wisdom from your background. Guys, everyone has wisdom and they want to share it. The job comes 2 or 3 weeks later, okay, when they see a role posted in their organization and they think of you, okay? In addition, please don't talk about yourself, like hardly at all. Work on your 1 minute, yes, 1 minute personal narrative, and again, spend the rest of the time seeking wisdom. What about if you're an experienced worker who finds themselves without a job for the first time in many years? Guys, I'm so sorry you have to deal with this, but guys, this is the cool thing. You experienced workers are used to having to-do lists, so you can approach networking the same way. For example, you can say to yourself, every day I'm going to make 5 new contacts, and I'm going to call 2 new people, and I'm going to make 3 comments online. Awesome, then you can check things off the list, right? Networking can become your action items, and it can help you feel in some ways a little more in the game. So my final thoughts, guys, networking, guys, it teaches transferable skills. Once you have your 1 minute narrative for a networking meeting, that's the same narrative that you can use over and over on phone interviews, large group events. And once you get into the habit of asking wisdom-seeking questions, guys, that skill can be applied at the end of an interview when someone asks, what questions do you have for me? Much of the energy and tactics around networking, guys, it applies to all parts of career and job transitions. This past year, guys, has made some things very difficult for job seekers. But here's the thing. It's also given you a great reason to reconnect with past colleagues, ask them how they're doing, or even reach out to new contacts and ask how their company or industry is just holding up. And then the key is continue the conversation to ask for what you need, okay? If you follow this advice, guys, you're going to find that your network is going to grow and you're going to find a job faster during this pandemic. So, do you want more amazing advice and community? Join us in our Facebook group and our LinkedIn group.